So finally, all the hired help in the Dan Markel murder have all been convicted, and it looks like 2023 is going to be Charlie's year. Are the walls closing in on Wendi, Donna and Harvey? We're going to talk about new evidence implicating Harvey Adelson. We're going to talk about plea deals, and we're going to talk about what's on the cards for Wendi and Donna. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm Dawn and you found Lounge Bar Crime. Anything that you hear in this video, it's from my own research, my own opinion, and it's for entertainment purposes only. That out of the way, let's get started. Listening to Georgia Kappelman at Charlie Adelson's Arthur hearing, she indicated that Donna and Wendi were potential participants. At this stage, there was no mention at all of Harvey Adelson. I'm wondering whether that was done deliberately.
Mr. Adelson has every incentive to influence witnesses who may testify at his trial. Some of those potential witnesses, such as his mother, Donna Adelson, and his sister, Wendi Adelson, are close family members who may also be implicated in Dan Markel's murder and may themselves be subject to future prosecution. There is a substantial risk that Mr. Adelson and his family members could strategize, coordinate defenses, script testimony, or work together to influence other witnesses. Any of these scenarios would threaten the integrity of Mr. Adelson's trial, as well as the ongoing criminal investigations of members of Adelson family members and other potential unindicted co-conspirators.
So the instigators in this crime, the remaining instigators, Donna, Harvey and Wendi, they're still living the good life. I don't think we've got a problem with Charlie, even with his new attorney in tow, Rashborn. I don't think we've got a problem at all. I think Georgia Kappelman's going to be all over that. And I'll tell you why as well in a bit. I'll tell you what direction I think his attorney's going in. So who do you think Georgia is going to go for next? Who do you think is the weakest link with Donna, Harvey and Wendi? Wendi's not the weakest link. I think we all know that. I'm not really going to go into Wendi too much in this video because I've got another video just on Wendi because she's a piece of cake on her own. There's too much with Wendi. It go on for far too long. So, and I don't think they're going to go for her next. I'd be surprised if they did. I just don't think they are. I don't think Harvey was an instigator, as I do Donna and Wendi. I think they were the instigators in this. I think they pressed Charlie's buttons, and being the puppy that he is, the hero, the maestro, all that he describes himself as. Well, he can be that inside now, can't he? But I think it was Donna and Wendi that instigated all this. But Harvey, I don't think he was far behind. I know that Charlie Adelson says to Magbanua that Mum hasn't told Dad yet about this, but that was after the bump. So I don't think that was anything to do with anything other than the FBI approaching Donna. That I think that's all she was keeping from him. You know, that I'll get in touch with Charlie and see if he can get this sorted out. No need to worry Harvey about this. But I think by then Harvey was well aware of quite a lot of things. If we look at some of the conversations that Harvey had in the restaurant with Charlie, Harvey is not phased at all. Some of the things that he says, I'll put them up there, but I'm surprised that they didn't come to me first. Charlie's saying they usually go for the weaker one. Well, Donna is not the weaker one. But, and he's saying, and is that what Katie agreed? And he didn't think that they were that smart. It's not necessarily what Harvey's saying, it's what he's not saying. He's not saying, you need to get this sorted out. And, you know, don't speak to me about this anymore. I don't want nothing to do with this. You know, he's not ringing the police. So he's quite comfortable. The other thing that makes me think that Harvey was in on this is because ka-ching, he's the one with the money. Donna's not working. I mean, office manager, she goes in when she wants, and then she just stops working anyway to look after Dan Markel's children. So, because from what I can gather, Wendi's never home. Wendi's out all the time. So she's become a babysitter, which she got what she wanted. So, but my point is, she's not working. She didn't have the readies. Harvey was the one with the money, and so was Charlie. So if we go back right to the beginning, when Donna was trying to bribe Dan with $1 million, where was she getting that money from then? She would have been going to Harvey for that. So Harvey was, it's pretty clear Harvey was aware. I mean, if Dan had agreed to that, then Harvey would have been handing over part of that money along with Charlie. So he was well aware right at the start. Now, I did watch this case for quite a long time, and I did think, no, Harvey's not part of this. But as that conversation at the Arthur hearing, that just flips it for me completely. That is when I thought he did. He knew. I'm absolutely sure he knew. And if you didn't know before, and he wasn't part of instigating it with Charlie and Donna and Wendi, then he definitely knew straight afterwards and did nothing. And that to me is just as bad. And more recently as well, Harvey Adelson has bought Charlie's investments, properties, parts of the business from him, parts of Charlie's business. So he's assisting in everything that he can. Let's go back to when it just happened as well, and he sold his Lexus to Katherine Magbanua. They can't find any transactions for that anywhere. Donna signing checks for Katherine, and Harvey Adelson didn't get where he got by not knowing what's going on with his accounts. So if you put all this together, the £1 million bribe right at the start, the car, buying Charlie's investments and properties and things like that. Yeah, I mean, a man of his stature, you don't get rid of a Lexus for peanuts or for nothing. It just wouldn't. So, yeah, I definitely smell a rat with Harvey, definitely. Now I do. So in Donna and Harvey, I think, well, I did think for quite a while that they should go for Harvey first, because I do think he is the weakest link. But now I'm wondering to myself, I want to know what you think on this. Now I'm wondering to myself, if they do go for Harvey first, and they haven't really got as much on him as they have on Donna, and he walks, will that then set the scene for Donna to walk? Will that be easier for Donna to walk and then for Wendi? I don't know. I mean, I really, really want to see Donna in that stand. That's who I want to see. And Wendi. Do you know what? I've got a terrible thought that I've just got this feeling that Wendy's going to walk. Wendy's going to get away with everything. And I'll tell you why I'm thinking that. Like I said, I'm going to do a video on Wendi. But I'm thinking that because of the people Wendi is surrounding herself with. She's not stupid. I think she's the biggest instigator in this. And I know there's quite a few people, I've read comments, there's quite a few people that think she was like an innocent party. That she did wrong with the divorce and then taking the kids to Florida so soon and all that. But also I've read quite a lot of comments where some people just think she's innocent. Not as many, thankfully, that think she's not. But there are people that think, she was just a victim. And I don't think that at all. I think Wendi is, well, let's put it this way. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree with Charlie and Wendi from the mother, Mommy Dearest, Donna Adelson. Those two kids, they're both the same as their mum. Both of them have got the same personality. But I think there's something about Wendi, and I think I'm not gonna start going down that lane now anyway, because I'll be here all night. But yeah, there's something about Wendi. So, who do you think? Harvey or Donna first? As I said, one way I think Harvey, because I think he'll just buckle on the first hurdle, and boom, boom, boom. But then if he doesn't, then he could walk, and then is Donna going to follow suit? Or do you think Donna? Get Donna in there first. So let's just get into Donna for a minute. She spent 18 months bombarding Wendi with emails about Dan and what to do, talking about changing the faith, the bribe of the 1 million. By the way, I don't think for a minute that it was Donna that was just doing all this bombarding with the emails and everything. I think Wendi was feeding her strawberries. And Donna, yeah, I think Donna was just moving forward, edging. And I mean, don't forget, in one of the emails, Donna did say, "Oh, I've got to go off because I'm fed up with this," more or less. That implies that Wendi was like, "Oh, woe is me, I'm the victim." She's never been a victim in her life. But yeah, so definitely, I think Donna, out of the two, she's going to be out of her and Harvey. She's going to be the one to. I think if they get her behind bars, then there might be a chance with Wendi. If she walks, then that's it. That's what I think anyway. Yeah, Donna was straight into using this, the code, the TV. She was right on this. And you know, on the phone messages, when you listen to them phone messages, she's smarter than Charlie. She uses that code, no trouble. And when Charlie says to her, well, you know, when she says that she'd been approached and she didn't know who, blah, blah, blah. And when Charlie says, we'll go to the police, straight away she says, I don't think that's a good idea. And straight away she starts using that TV as a code. So I think she's far, far more clued up than Charlie ever was. I think Charlie is just that puppy in her, trying to like please his mum, trying to be the hero in the family, and you know, I'll sort everything out. Now, Charlie said to, you know, if Donna's got nothing to worry about after she'd been approached, apparently that evening she had diarrhea all night. You've not done anything, love, just phone the police. That's how it is. We all know that's BS anyway, because we all know that she is involved. So she was never going to phone the police. But you get where I'm coming from. This is the stuff that Donna Adelson is made of. After the bump, when Charlie, they were trying to work out who it was, and they were backwards and forwards for a few days. And one morning Charlie rings her, and it's just, what you doing, blah, blah, blah. And they go off the phone. She then calls Charlie back, and Dan's children are in the background playing. And she's discussing this FBI bump with Charlie on the phone, and Dan's children are there. And you know, how can you not look at them children and not break your heart for the fact of what's happened to the dad? But no, she's just on the phone saying, "Oh, it's all about me," and about, you know, as though somebody's done something wrong to her, more or less, like it needs to be sorted out. Charlie's telling her that yeah, it's sorted. It wasn't sorted at all. He's saying that, and she's like, yeah, right. You know, she's so nonchalant about it. And those two little kids are in the background. You can hear the voices, and they're just playing. And that's what she's made of. That witch. Can I say that? Yeah, I think Donna's case, even though they've got more on Donna, I think her case is going to be, you know, a lot more difficult than Harvey's. One thing that did keep coming to mind with me with regards Donna, now I'm speaking as a mother. I don't think Donna has ever played the role of being a mother in her life, but I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm thinking to myself, if that was my kids, Not that my kid wouldn't do anything like that. But you know what I'm saying? Why doesn't she, the fact with her age, I mean, I know she's not ancient, but why doesn't she turn around to her kids and say, right, I've had my life, more or less. I've had a lot more than you. So I'm going to take the rap for the lot of it. I'm going to go inside and say, it was me. I instigated it all. And you can walk free. Why didn't she do that? I mean, she's not even turned up at court, has she, to see her son? Or support Wendi when Wendi was going. Oh no. No. She's not going anywhere near. Typical. She starts something and now she can't finish it. She's in hiding with Dan's kids. Honestly. And the other thing is, I mean, she was disparaging about Dan to those children as well. I mean, Dan mentioned that. So those children are in the worst place possible. We all know that anyway. So now everyone kept wondering, why did Katherine Magbanua not do a plea deal? Against a lot of them to get a lesser sentence. And we couldn't understand it. Why did... Now, at stages, I think some of us thought maybe she wasn't offered it. Maybe that wasn't an option, but it was.
Ms. Magbanua was offered immunity, a get-out-of-jail-free card, for approximately 7 years. She was offered it several times. All she had to do was give direct evidence against my client. She never did so because there was none.
See, it's been said that she saw money signs. I think she was gaslighted by Charlie. You just have to. You can hear it on the tapes. He's saying you don't know. You don't this. You don't know. And I think she thought that everything he says, because of who he is, then it's got to be right. And I think she thought, right, yeah, I'll just stick to my story. And when I get through this, I'm going to be rolling in it. And I think it was greed with her. That's why she didn't do a plea deal. That's why she didn't accept it. Because I mean, if you look at her in court, leading up to, obviously leading through the case, she looks quite confident. On the stand, it looks like she's taken on Wendy's role of, I don't know, it was like 8 years ago. How am I expected to remember that? You're asking me, and she was trying to mix up. You all saw it anyway. You don't need me to explain this to you. You saw it. She was playing the fool because ka-ching. She had ka-ching signs. That's why I think she was doing that. She thought she was going to come out and she was going to be loaded. But I believe now that if she did a plea deal now, that the best that they could offer her, because they're not going to accept anything from her now, because we all know she's a liar and they know that she's a liar. But apparently, if it was accepted, the best that they could do is put her in a prison of where she wants. And I believe it has been known in the past where they do things for the kids. She's absolutely stupid and all through greed. That's what I think that was. The only other thing that could have been was that she would have been threatened, but she doesn't seem to me. I don't think Charlie would have threatened her. I just don't, because of the people that she knows. So I don't think Charlie would have threatened her. So that, to me, that's the only other option. But I think she listened to him, the big I am, and she thought, yeah, I'll go with that one, and then I won't want for anything. Because I don't think she ever thought that Charlie was going to get arrested. So I think that's what's gone down with her plea deals. Other people have also mentioned about whether Charlie would do a plea deal against his mum or Wendi. No, that's not going to happen. If that happened, seriously, no, I could not see that at all. So, and you know what? His mother, Donna, would not expect him to neither. She wouldn't expect him to. She's quite happy where she's sat. So, no, He's not going to do that, and he's not going to turn in his little sister Wendi, because Wendy's just a victim. Wasn't her fault, all this. Yeah. So he's gonna end up doing however long. And yeah, and Donna's gonna sit back and watch it. So if you've got this far in the video, you're obviously enjoying the video, even if it's only just a little tidgy bit. So press that tidgy like button down there. So Charlie Adelson's new lawyer, this Daniel Rushborn, he was Donna's and Harvey's lawyer previously. Now, usually they don't let that happen because it's conflicting. So obviously Donna and Harvey can't have him as a lawyer anymore. But I don't think that they should have allowed that, because he's been on in two different corners of this case now. But I also wonder why Donna and Harvey let him go to Charlie, and I actually think that they're that conceited. I don't think that they thought that they would need, because they think he's a really good lawyer, and Charlie obviously does. So I don't think that they thought they needed a good as lawyer as Charlie might, because I didn't think at that time they, anybody was looking at them really. So he's got Rushborn. So, and I don't think George Kappelman has got anything to worry about with him at all, because watching him, just to say as well, and I don't know why Charlie Adelson was having an Arthur hearing, because you're not supposed to have one of them in Florida, I believe, if it's for murder. So I don't know why. Anyway, he had it. So right, Rushborn, I think if you watch him in that Arthur hearing, just watch this.
Exhibit A.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted as State's Exhibit B. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted as State's Exhibit C. Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted as Exhibit D.
So he talked about in Charlie's hearing there as well. He talked about that the prosecution cherry picked things from the tapes. Of course they did. So just like he said he's going to do, and he's going to show how Charlie's innocent. So, but he's complimenting the prosecution. They've given me everything. Yes, Your Honor. No objection. And I think he's coming from an angle, which is he's going to try and convince the jury that, yeah, I know they had all that, but look at me, we have got nothing to hide. We're just going to put everything on there, meaning that they're not going to cherry pick. They're going to put the full tapes out there, and they're going to get them deciphered themselves. I think he's going to try and flirt his way through the case, if you get my meaning. I don't mean flirt with anybody in particular, but I think he's going to try and use his charm. Like, this might have worked for him in the past. I don't know what cases he's done, but this looks like where he's coming from to me. And if you put him next to Georgia Kappelman is like very she's like monotone in a nice way. She's gorgeous looking, but I mean, she gives nothing away, which is brilliant. She shows nothing, she keeps it like that. And he just looks like he's jumping all over the place, but it looks to me like she's going to walk all over him. I just know. I know that she's got nothing to worry about with him. I'm sure she doesn't even think that she has. Anyway, but either way, nothing's going to stop her. And she has said, I've seen in one interview as well, she also indicated in an interview that she wasn't finished, but she's not giving too much away. Who do you think they're going to go for? Who do you think they're going to go for next? Do you think they're going to go? You see, as well, we know that they can't make a mistake, so they have to think this through properly. And whoever they go for next, they've got to be almost 99.9% sure that they've got them. And I'm not sure that they can do that with Wendi without previously having Donna and Harvey on the stand. So I don't think she's going to go for Wendi next. I think it's going to be Donna or Harvey, and I don't know which one, and I don't know which one she should go for, because one minute I think she'd just go for Donna. You see, I think Donna's more clued up than Wendi in a lot of ways. Definitely not spots of Charlie, yeah, but I think she's going to get irritated, and I think Wendi has that same trait as her mother as well. So I think she's going to get really irritated. I'm saying it so she's going on the stand. We've not even got rid of Charlie yet properly, but yeah, it's going to happen. It's got to happen, hasn't it? So yeah, I think she'll get irritated like Wendi. I mean, Georgia Katherine knew exactly what buttons to press. Oh no, Chris Decoste, he knew exactly how to wind her up, and he got at her. So, and I think this Donna is going to behave exactly the same way. So you could say go for her, because she'll get flustered and she'll get annoyed, and that. Harvey, I don't think he'll know what day it is. Excuse me. I think he'll be now he could make some massive slip-ups, massive ones. That could be a good thing, but then I think they're going to say to him, you know, you can't remember, and you can't remember, do all that. So anyway, I'm going on and on and on. I'm going to do another video, and it's, you see, apart from the instigators in this case, and also the hired help and that, I think that there are other people involved in this case, or not involved in it, but who have made things difficult for the prosecution. So I might do a video on them as well. And also, for anybody who's still watching, which I doubt they would be if they don't understand this case, because I have seen in quite a lot of places, a lot of people have said, I'm not following that case because it's so complicated. There's a lot of avenues in this case. Excuse me. There is so many avenues. I mean, I could sit here and talk till the morning with you about it. So you're right, there is. But if anybody wants me to do anything on this case, where I might put it on a poll actually on my community page, but if anybody wants me to just do like the bare points on this case, you know, and try and simplify it for them, just let me know in the comments. As I said, I should have said this really more at the beginning than at the end, but let me know, or I'll put a poll on my community page. If there's enough, then I'll do it. But yeah, it does go on and on and on, this case, bit like I'm doing now. So I have got another video in the offing about Wendi. I was partway through that when the Arthur hearing came up, and then, you know, obviously it's like, well, actually I need to just jump on this now. So I am going to do one on Wendi, just about her. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. So if you found this video interesting, hit the like button, because it does help me out. You know, I'm a new channel, so help the channel out, help the algorithms on the channel. In between, and stay safe and come back. All right, bye.